In this video, I will show you how to count cells that are over n number of characters in Excel using two methods like this. So let's get started. Here in this Excel sheet, I have some data in this column. Now I want to count cells that contain more than n number of characters. For this example, let's say cells containing more than 5 characters. We can count the cells with more than n number of characters using the COUNTIF function. The COUNTIF function returns the count of cells that meet the specified criteria. This function accepts two arguments, the range of the cells and a match criteria. To count the cells with more than n characters, first I am going to get the number of characters in these cells using the len function. Let's add one column at the end to store the length of each cell. Now let's use the len function to get the total number of characters in these cells. As you can see, we now have the cell length for all the cells. Next, I am going to use the COUNTIF function to count the cells with more than 5 characters. Let's enter an equal sign in the target cell to start the formula. Now type COUNTIF followed by an opening bracket. Let's select the range of the cells containing the cell lengths as the first argument. Enter a comma and then type the greater than sign followed by the number 5 in the double quotes as the second criteria argument. Type the closing bracket and hit the enter key to complete the formula. As you can see, we now have the count of the cells over 5 characters. If you have the number of characters stored in a cell, we need to change the formula a little bit. Instead of hard coding the number of characters in the criteria itself, we need to join the cell having the number of characters with the greater than sign using the ampersand character like this. As you can see, we now have the formula to count the cells over n characters taken from the cell value. We can also use the SUMPRODUCT function along with the len function to count the cells with more than n number of characters. We do not even need to have an extra helper column to store cell lengths like the first method for this method. Here is the formula to do that. Here I have passed the range of the cells as the argument of the len function. Since there are 5 cells in the range, the len function returns an array of 5 elements containing the length of each cell in the range. The individual array elements are then compared with the number 5 to check if they are greater than the number. This comparison also returns an array of 5 elements containing false, true, and true. The true value is returned for the cell whose length is greater than 5 and the false value is returned when it is not. Now all we need to do is to count these true values using the SUMPRODUCT function. But for the SUMPRODUCT function to work, we need to convert these true and false values to 1 and 0 respectively. I did that by applying the double negative minus minus. After applying the double negative, we get an array of 5 elements containing 0, 1, 0, 1 and 1. Finally, the SUMPRODUCT function sums up the array elements and the result of that is 3. As you can see, we now have the count of the cells over 5 characters. If you have number of characters stored in a cell like this, we need to change the formula a little bit. We need to replace the hard-coded number in the formula with the cell reference containing the number of characters like this. Everything else in the formula remains the same and it produces the same count. Watch these videos to learn more Excel tips, tricks and how-to tutorials. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel.